In the ancient land of Eldoria, beneath the shadow of Mount Velen, there lived a wise old seer named Elian. He was not only known for his clairvoyance, but also for his mysterious ability to read minds. Folk from neighboring lands traveled great distances to seek his wisdom for aliens. Insight was said to pierce the veil of deceit and delusion. One day, a young prince named Lorien arrived at Alien's abode. He was frustrated and wary, for he believed that someone in his court was plotting against him. Desperate to know the traitor, he beseeched Elian for help. The old seer, with a glint of wisdom in his eyes, said, "Reading minds is not a parlor trick. It is a deep understanding of human nature and its intricacies. Before I help you, you must understand its foundations." Intrigued, Lorien nodded first. "Understand that our minds are like vast oceans filled with both calm waters and hidden tempests. He is in observing the ripples on the surface, for they hint at what lurks beneath." Elian continued. "It begins with observation of gestures. Eyes, the twitch of a lip, or a nervous habit. These are the gateways to one's soul." Lorien contemplated, recalling how Lord Garwin often tapped his fingers when speaking of the kingdom's affairs, or how Lady Isolde would look away every time the royal treasury was mentioned, seeing the prince deep and fought. Elian said it is not just observation of actions, but also of words. Listen to what is said, but more importantly to what is left unsaid. Lorien recalled the council meetings where silence would often fill the room, after discussions about the kingdom's alliances. It was clear that some topics were deliberately avoided, but Elian added with emphasis. The most crucial is empathy, placing oneself in another's shoes, feeling their emotions and understanding their motivations. Only then can you begin to piece together their true months. Lorien found that challenging. He had always been taught to keep a distance from his subjects to maintain authority. How could he empathize with those he barely knew? Elian, sensing the prince's hesitation, shared a tale from his youth many years ago. "I was much like you, proud and distant, but a famine struck Eldoria, and I saw the pain in people's eyes to truly help. I had to feel their hunger, their despair. I lived among them, shared their sorrows, and it was then that I realized, to know someone's mind, you must first know their heart." Days turned into week. Says Lorien learned the art of understanding. He listened intently to his subjects, observed their actions, and most importantly, he opened his heart to feel their joys and sorrows. Over time, he began to notice patterns, subtle hints and clues about who might be against him one day. During a royal gathering, Lorien noticed Lady Isolde's fleeting glances towards the Eastern Tower. Each time the kingdom's alliances were discussed, she would become particularly restless. Lorien remembered Elian's teachings and approached her not with suspicion, but with empathy. "My dear Lady Isolde," he began gently, "I sense a heavy burden on your heart." Taken aback by the prince's kindness and insight, Lady Isolde hesitated, but then confessed she had been approached by a rival kingdom, promised wealth and power in exchange for information, while she hadn't betrayed Lorien. Yet the temptation weighed heavily on her. Lorien, instead of punishing her, thanked her for her honesty. He offered her a position as an ambassador to use her connections for the betterment of Eldoria. Grateful for a second chance, Lady Isolde became one of Lorien's most trusted advisors. Years later, Lorien, now a wise and just king, often recounted his lessons from Elian under his rule. Eldoria flourished not because its king could read minds, but because he understood hearts, and so the tale of the seer of Eldoria and the enlightened King Lorien, a cherished lesson for generations, that to truly understand someone, one must observe, listen, and most importantly, empathize. The story of the Eldorian seer is not simply an ancient tale, but a reservoir of timeless wisdom that speaks to our daily lives. It offers several profound lessons and practical advice. Observation, the art of reading. Minds begins with careful observation. Pay attention to subtle gestures, facial expressions, and body language. These nonverbal cues often reveal more than spoken words. Active listening. Listening is not merely about hearing words. It's about understanding what lies between the lines. Whether in personal relationships or professional engagements, focus on what's being said, and more importantly, what's being left unsaid. Empathy. Connect with others. Emotions. By putting yourself in someone else's shoes, you not only foster deeper relationships, but also gain insights into their thoughts and motivations. Compassion and understanding, as seen in the prince's reaction to betrayal, responding with compassion rather than anger, can transform relationships, offering a second chance, or understanding why a person acted a certain way can lead to growth and loyalty. Integrity. Both the prince and the courtier learned the value of integrity. Being honest, even when faced with temptation, builds a foundation of trust that is essential for any healthy relationship application to modern life. While we may not live in ancient kingdoms, these principles are applicable in all aspects of modern life. Whether dealing with family, friends, or colleagues, observation, listening, empathy, and integrity remain key to understanding and connecting with those around us.